We had this week at the beginning, which was primarily because it was a new play, which was amazing. We were able to sit around the table and really, because no matter how you're at home reading it, but when you hear others reading those parts, it brings such a life to it and a richness to it. And when Zinnie's in the room, because it's a new play, you have no reference, you know? So that first week was just about us all being in the same wheel.
Great credit to Vicky and to Zinnie, the director and writer, that we had a very open discussion in the first week, 2 weeks, about the play, what it meant, what each scene had or what each scene needed.
And it was actually really fascinating because we sort of got to know the play really, really well before we even took it onto the floor to stand it up and walk and talk.
And there's a lovely sense of play and safety. And she's a very good process of organically finding your way through a scene. So then when it comes to actually blocking it, you find that, oh yeah, when we were playing around with it the other day, it naturally fell into this shape and that seems to work. So it feels very organic, but it's also very structured.
There was a moment on Friday of week 2, the first week of having stood it up on its feet, where everything just clicked for me. And before then I'd been like up all night with this play just running in my head. And
right now we're going through very detailed, and now we're working on the entrances, the exits, how people hand things, you know, props to people. So it's much more detailed now to see how the scene will come together for the audience to see it as a scene.
Okay, let's get through the next bit. If this whole thing is about the child, let's get to the child.
Beatriz is this woman living in Spain, and I think it's at the end of the 18th century. That's technically the date that you start at.
Events take a turn for the unexpected very, very soon, and what appears to be a very sedentary, languid, beautiful afternoon or beautiful morning between two sisters changes into something quite different, and the play takes a very different direction.
There is a young girl who's a sort of catalyst for the journey. Someone is sent away, her father is sent away.
Colleen, who's been banished from Spain. So that happens in the initial scene, and then they go on this epic journey trying to find him. Me
following my own journey, me trying to get the girl to her father, and then even travelling around the world. That to me is the wheel. And everybody that we meet along the way, we have a journey even within that country or that place, or with those people, whether it's Joska, he's at a train station.
He's a very sweet man, a bit lonely and slightly desperate, possibly because of the circumstances that he finds himself in, has to kind of invent the world that he lives in.
Or there's a doctor's wife that we meet in Paris.
And Madame, I'm in France, in a particular wartime war zone. It's actually a siege that we're in.
There's a siege going on and she's taking an awful lot from people to survive. So we meet her, she's quite greedy and quite manipulative.
Our soldiers that you meet on a battlefield.
Pedro is one of the villagers that's been conscripted into the army. He's a soldier, so he kind of takes liberties. Pedro, at the beginning of the play, he's in the first scene, he's more of an obstacle to Beatriz's sister, Rosa.
In those little moments you also have a wheel within a wheel. So you take that little journey and somehow or other you've got to get past that obstacle. Just when you think the wheel has come to its end, or things can, you know, life can go back to the way it was, something else happens.
Things change moment to moment. It's kind of a thriller actually, if I can be crude about it. It's really like a thriller, because you want to know what happens next, and something always happens next that's completely unexpected.
And it's the cost of having to go through those walls, what it does to the human soul and the human mind. It is a journey that I think we can all, you know, identify with. And as wars are happening around us all the time, I mean, you know, we can absolutely identify with what's happening in this play.